Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I am your host, Lance Brock. Welcome, episode 304, for this big weekend of pro wrestling, hosting this episode. And on this one, going to be recapping WWE Summerslam. That's just the first part of this big weekend. Tomorrow night, we got Ric Flair's last match taking place from also in Nashville, Tennessee at the Municipal Auditorium. But right now, we're going to talk about SummerSlam. From Nashville, Tennessee, from Nissan Stadium. The commentators tonight representing Raw is Jimmy Smith, Byron Saxton, Corey Graves. Also Corey Graves doing the SmackDown matches with Michael Cole since Pat McAfee was in action tonight. And we started off with the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch taking on Bianca Bellaire. We started things off pretty good here, I thought. Bellaire gets the win to remain Raw Women's Champion with the KOD at 15 minutes, 10 seconds. And then, after the match, we see return of former champion Bayley. And she's not alone. She is also joined by Dakota Kai and Io Shirai. They enter the ring. Acts like they're going to do a 3-on-1 attack on Bianca Belair. But Becky Lynch gets back in the ring, has her back, and then they back out of the ring. Definitely interesting to see what's going to happen with this faction with Bayley, Dakota, and Io. Or actually, it was noted by Corey Graves that there has been a name change. She is now Io Sky. That's what Corey Graves kept calling her anyway. But don't know what this new faction is going to be called just yet. But looks good so far. And next up on SummerSlam, we have The Miz taking on Logan Paul. And this one's not a bad match. Better match than I actually thought it was going to be anyway. And Logan Paul gets the win, which is not surprising. We see some interference from Tommaso Ciampa, and then AJ Styles comes out to even up the odds. And then Logan Paul hits a skull-crushing finale on The Miz, and then hits the phenomenal forearm. And then they ask if AJ Styles is the one of the WWE superstars who has been training with Logan Paul. And Paul gets the win, 14 minutes, 15 seconds. Next up, the United States Championship is on the line. Theory challenging Bobby Lashley. This one's kept kind of short, 4 minutes, 41 seconds. Lashley gets the submission win with the Hurt Lock. So far, not a good night for Theory. We'll have to see what happens for the rest of the night. Next up, Judgment Day taking on Los Mysterios. I don't know if that's an official name for them, but they came out with a t-shirt that says that. Then, this one, we see the return of Edge. And then the Mysterios get the win. Edge back with a little bit of a shorter haircut again. New theme song. So I'm guessing this is going to be a feud. And then Baron Corbin taking on SmackDown commentator Pat McAfee. This one was an okay match. McAfee gets the win. No surprise there. Has a choir for his entrance, kind of singing, was it Bum Ass Corbin? he called them. And then Drew McIntyre comes out and cuts a promo here talking about Clash at the Castle. He's the number one contender for the Undisputed Universal Championship. Next up is the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits taking on the Usos with Jeff Jarrett as the special guest referee. Good match. Jarrett called it right down the middle. Didn't turn heel or anything. And then at one point, Montez Ford goes for the cover. Jarrett counts, only a 2 count, but then Montez Ford gets real upset with him, gets real in his face. Could possibly be a heel turn there. But then the Usos hit the 1D and get the win. 12 minutes, 43 seconds. Still WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions. The Usos. Good match, I thought. I don't know if it was as good as their Money in the Bank match, but still good. The Raw Women's Championship is now on the line. Ronda Rousey taking on Liv Morgan. Pretty good match, I thought, here. To finish these, Ronda Rousey have the armbar locked in on Liv Morgan, but also Ronda Rousey's shoulders are down, and the referee counts 3, but he doesn't see that Liv Morgan was actually tapping out first, and Corey Graves actually called that out, and then they showed the replay. But the decision stood. Still SmackDown Women's Champion. I think I might have said Raw just a minute ago, but SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan. Then we see the mayor of Knoxville County, Tennessee, Glenn Jacobs. He comes out real quick, just announces the attendance, 48,449. Not sure if that is just the WWE attendance or if that's the legit attendance. And now it is time for the main event of the evening for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. The Tribal Chief Roman Reigns taking on Brock Lesnar. Last man standing match. And Lesnar comes out with a tractor. And this is a wild match, of course. A lot of tables, a lot of other weapons. And then Lesnar gets back on the tractor, moves the ring, and actually lifts the ring up, dumping Roman Reigns out of the ring. So that was pretty crazy, obviously. And we see interference from the Usos. Lesnar gives Paul Heyman an F5 through the announce table. But in the end, it is Roman Reigns keeping Lesnar down for the 10 count to remain. And they buried him under a bunch of tables, chairs, steps. But still, Universal Champion Roman Reigns winning the last man standing match. So, that was WWE Summerslam 2022. And overall, I thought it was a pretty good show, actually. I enjoyed the main event. I wouldn't really say, in my opinion anyway, that there were really any bad matches on this show. Would I say it was real great either? Maybe not, but definitely a solid show anyway, I thought. But let me know what you think. Remember, you can leave comments either on YouTube, the YouTube version of the podcast, or if the podcatcher you listen to it on has a comment section, or email your thoughts at 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. And now that Triple H is running creative, Raw was actually pretty good last week. And then tonight, SummerSlam, we got, like I said, the Becky Lynch, Bianca, Bellaire match was pretty good. Good to see Bailey back, along with Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, now Sky. Miz Logan Paul wasn't too bad or anything. Theory and Lashley was alright. Judgment Day and the Mysterios. Corbin and McAfee. Nothing real special, but not too bad either. Usos and Street Profits, good match. Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan was also good. And then I was entertained by the main event. And now, tomorrow, we have Ric Flair's last match, as it is him and his son-in-law, Andrade El Idolo, taking on the team of who we saw tonight as a referee, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, which I think could be actually a pretty good match. Might surprise a lot of people. And then also we got the Wolves taking on the Motor City Machine Guns, which in my opinion, I would not be surprised one bit if that match right there steals the show. Remember that later too, that I said that I would not be surprised one bit at all if that match steals the show. And then also we got Ren Narita taking on Clark Connors, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith Jr. taking on Killer Cross, the Briscoes taking on the Von Erichs, Marshall Von Erich and Ross Von Erich, and we got Kerry Von Erich, messed that up, Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton, his son, taking on Brian Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson, with Arn Anderson in their corner. We got a 4 corners match. That sounds pretty interesting. We got the former Dark Order member 5, Alan Angels, taking on Jonathan Gresham, Takeshita, and Nick Wayne. We got 4-way match here. Laredo Kid, Black Taurus, Ray Phoenix, and Bandito representing AAA. The Impact Knockouts Championship is on the line. Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and Rachel Ellering. That should be another very good match. And the Impact World Championship is on the line. And this match actually is Impact Wrestling versus MLW, because it's going to be Josh Alexander defending the Impact World Championship against Jacob Fatu. And I know main reason most people maybe are ordering this pay-per-view, watching the show to see Ric Flair's last match, and that might be the main attraction, but the rest of the card sounds very good as well. I just talked about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the show, the other matches, just as much as the main event. So that is tomorrow night. Hope to have a recap episode of the podcast talking about that. Not sure when exactly that episode will be up, but hope to have it up not too long after the show. So stay tuned for that, fans, and thank you for tuning in tonight. Before I go, remember, you can email any questions or comments you have at 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com, or leave comments and on the YouTube version of the podcast on the new 360 Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel, or if you can leave comments on the podcatcher you listen to us on. And also, I don't talk about this very often as much as I should, but also rate and subscribe on like Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you listen to it on. If you can rate, like give a star rating or write a review, if you can, that would help out a lot. And even if it's just a couple words, you don't have to write much, but that'll probably help, like Cole Cabana says, help the algorithm. And if you can support 360 Wrestling Podcast, it'll help very much. Either go to www.anchor.fm/360-wrestling-podcast 360. That'd help very much. Also, a new way to donate, streamlabs.com/360 Wrestling Podcast. I think you can still donate even when not streaming. I'm new to Streamlabs, haven't really figured it out fully just yet. Hope to soon. But until then, maybe you can go there, support 360 by donating. It don't have to be much, but how much ever you can do, if you can, it'd be very much appreciated. Like I said, I hope to be back soon with a recap of Ric Flair's last match presented by StarCast. Until the next episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, I am Lance and I am a wrestling fanatic.